Hello everyone, Chris Lachavo with RE/MAX Heritage Professionals. We are here once again at the end of another month, the end of March 2023, which means our stats for February are available. So let's get into the numbers. This is for Winter Haven, Florida for March 2023. So closed sales for February 2023, 70 closed sales compared to 97 a year ago, a decrease of 27.8%. So certainly much slower this year than it was last year by almost a third. Cash sales as a percentage of closed sales, 24.3% of all sales were cash sales compared to 39.2% a year ago, a decrease of 38%. Median sales price, $285,000 compared to $295,000 a year ago. So prices in Winter Haven actually did go down year over year. Polk County, they still went up by 1.7%, but for Winter Haven, they went down 3.4%. So not a significant drop, not anything that would suggest the market is crashing, but just something worth noting. Average sales price, $273,852 compared to $307,184, a decrease of 10.9%. So average sales price actually went down a little more than the median did. Median percent of original list price, sellers are receiving 93.2% of original list price compared to 100% a year ago. That is a decrease of 6.8%. Median time to contract, 76 days compared to 26 days a year ago, an increase of 192.3%. So it's definitely taken houses a lot longer to sell in Winter Haven than it did a year ago. Median time to sale, 106 days compared to 72 days, an increase of 47.2%. New pending sales, 95 compared to 106 a year ago, a decrease of 10.4%. New listings, 81 new listings compared to 119 a year ago, a decrease of 31.9%. So we are not seeing an increase in inventory. Pending inventory, 140 homes compared to 142 a year ago, a decrease of 1.4%, so that's pretty stable. Active inventory, 231 homes are active in Winter Haven compared to 104 a year ago, an increase of 122.1%. But as I've noted in previous months, that increase in active inventory is because homes are staying on the market longer, not because there's actually more inventory. Month supply of inventory, 2.9 months supply of inventory compared to 0.9 a year ago, an increase of 222.2%. There's a lot of people that will have you believe that we are in a buyer's market. We're not. We're still in a seller's market. We're just not in as extreme a seller's market as we were a year ago. 6 months would be a balanced market, and we'd have to have more than 6 months of inventory to actually be in a buyer's market. So we're still a ways away from a buyer's market. It feels like we're in a buyer's market because we're comparing it to the crazy years previously, where the pandemic years, I call them, where we had the bidding wars and the feeding frenzy for houses. Tune in and we'll talk a little bit more about what all this means for you. So as we just talked about, we're seeing sales slow. We are seeing home prices steady over last year. So they're not necessarily dropping as some would believe. Now in some areas of the country, I think they are dropping a lot more than they are here in Florida. But we have a lot of things going for us here in Florida in terms of the number of people who want to move here. It's still the #1 destination that people want to move to for a variety of reasons. And for that reason, we still don't have the inventory to support that demand. And as long as that's the case, you're not going to see home prices tank, i.e. a housing market crash. Housing prices are impacted by supply and demand just as everything else is. And we're just short the number of homes we need for the amount of people moving to the area. And so as long as that's the case, we're going to see home prices at worst stabilize. I actually think come once we get into the spring and summer, hot home buying season, we're probably going to see home prices start to go up again, especially if mortgage rates actually continue to go down. They have gone down here in the last week as a result of the banking crisis. And so I think that as mortgage rates start to drop, we're going to see home prices increase because demand's going to increase. And we already don't have enough supply to meet the current level of demand. So what's going to happen when demand increases? Home prices are going to go up. Is the only thing they can do. There is a lot of new construction in the area, but it just can't happen fast enough to offset the demand that we currently have. So if I were a buyer sitting on the fence right now, maybe I'm waiting because mortgage rates are higher than I'm comfortable with. I think that you're probably making a bit of a mistake because this is probably the lowest home prices are going to be for at least the near future. So unless you can wait several years or unless something really drastic happens somewhere, I think you're looking at home prices going to go up. And you're going to see a return of the bidding wars and the multiple offers again. And I know a lot of people ran away from the housing market because they just couldn't deal with that. It was a very challenging market for buyers because you had to drop everything at a moment's notice to go see a home, and then you had to make a very quick decision and didn't have time to think through whether that really was the right home for you. You had to waive all kinds of contingencies. That's just not an ideal housing market for a buyer. And I think we might be heading back in that direction. Probably not in as extreme way as we were 2 years ago, but I think you're going to start to see more of that, especially for well-updated homes in some of the more popular communities. So if you want to avoid that, then bite the bullet, deal with what the interest rates are now, and then in a year or two when interest rates drop, you can refinance. Then you're still in your home at a better price, and now you've got your better mortgage interest rate. I really think that's the strategy if you're looking for a home for yourself to live in full time. And even if you're looking for a second or vacation home here in Florida, you've got your home in New York, Michigan, Indiana, where it's freezing cold or whatever. You're tired of bomb cyclones and snowstorms in mid-March. I don't blame you for that. You want to have a home you can come to when the weather's horrible up north like that. I think it makes sense to still look and buy now, and then again, refinance in a year or two when mortgage rates go down and the mortgage rate is more favorable to you. At least then you're not financing at the higher price that I think we're going to see here starting in the next few months. Now, if you're looking at you're purchasing housing or real estate as an investment strategy, I think that things are a little bit different, and so then you've got to sort of think about that a little bit differently moving forward. Anyway, I hope this information that I provided to you is helpful. If I can help you at all in the future, please reach out to me at Chris, RE/MAX Heritage Professionals, 863-280-2201. Thank you very much. Have a great day.